Okay, so yesterday, Stoned Alone, the channel, had turned 10 years old now. This is the anniversary. Basically, I want to share that I had gotten into maybe a negative headspace, and this is the part in the movie where, I'm all washed up and I feel sorry for myself and I'm like moping around and shit. But it's time to turn it around. That is the overall message. There's no point in moping around and even talking about that or being negative if there's not going to be a turn around. Basically, I really appreciate all the support throughout the 10 fucking years. Still cannot believe that. It has been 10 years. That's absolutely insane. Basically, I want to stick to the positives. This has been fantastic that it's been 10 years, and it's been a lot of incredible stuff throughout this. The type of people that I've met, the type of adventures I've been on, the 34 countries that I have smoked weed in or gotten high in. None of this would have been possible if it were not through the vehicle of Stoned Alone. So thank you to all the people that have watched. Thank you to all the people that provided music throughout this time. Thank you to all the people that I had met with and the people who had smoked me up or let me crash with them or who had met me all around the world and all across the United States. It's fucking insane, actually, that this is even possible. And I'm glad to still be sticking around, even though there'd been long periods of time where, I had not been as active. I'm just going through my shit. You know what I mean? And I don't want to dwell on that too much because, you know, there's a lot to be positive about. But certainly I had my down moments and going through shit. And I think that makes the fun parts so much sweeter, right? Without the downs, you cannot experience the ups as much. So I think that's kind of innovative. Jack and Coke microphone. So here's to fucking Stoned Alone, man. Can you believe that's 10 years already? Um, I loved this with all my heart. There'd been certain periods of time where, I was a lot more motivated about it or more gung ho about it, but I had never fully given up. And there are many periods where it's like I had considered giving up, I had thought about it, but I just cannot. And this means so much to me, where this is the single most important thing in my entire life. Recreate that magic again, because I think the early stuff is like, it's so fun and it's so magical, and this was always my like outlet, So here's to fucking Stoned Alone and all of the years doing this and all of the different places that this has brought us. And here is to another 10 years. Can you imagine what the next 10 years brings? And I had a little bit of a down spell in the past time here, but, I've gotten to a point that, I don't know, just growing up and shit, got to deal with a lot of life shit and whatever, but still, this has always been, like, my focus. So, Stoned Alone forever. Stoned Alone 100 years. StonedAlone100years.com. Stoned 100 years forever.com. That's all I gotta say, man. I mean, I would light up a giant celebratory blunt, but I am living in China right now. I do not have access to that. So while I'm here, I'm, working on products and stuff. I've not posted about this as much, doing my thing out here in China. And, I should probably share a bit more of that, like making these products and these vapes and developing this shit out here and then going to Thailand to test them. This certainly has been a good chapter in my life, and it had been helpful because I'd gotten to a place where I was just super self-destructive and the weed wasn't necessarily helping. I mean, it basically kind of hold it down and, keep things from, getting too bad, but it was kind of like a numbing agent. I will say the weed has always been a helpful thing in my life, and, like with any substances, abusing it can basically lead to it not being as helpful anymore. But also, why would I abuse drugs? I love them. So that's where I'm at right now. Um, I would not have expected any of the twists and turns of this. You know, there was getting out of the small town, ending up in Taiwan, uh, getting deleted off YouTube. So then we started the WeedTube app with a group of people living in LA, then Denver. And then after WeedTube kind of petered out, I was kind of just, drifting along a little bit. COVID hit. My brother and I dipped out the country, went to Brazil. I had enough of that. I came back. I worked boring, shitty jobs. I ended up meeting my boss now, Davis. This is already like 4 years ago. And then I just went full gung ho on, basically doing the marketing for those brands. And then that really held it down. I'm really glad that that has kind of gave me like a consistent like income and stuff, and it let me kind of figure my shit out. And I never had pressure on this channel to make income, and this was always for the love of it. And I do fucking love it. And I want this to be the greatest, and I want to put out greatness. I want to, you know, put out high quality stuff. But then I would also overemphasize on that, and I would be kind of indecisive and stuff because I was a little bit too perfectionist. Um, but then, that led to me living in El Paso for a couple years, and then I came out here to Asia. So that's a quick recap of the 10 years. Crazy how fast that goes by, but it's been cool that there's so many separate chapters. I really love that life is always full of surprises, and that's the best fucking part. This is definitely not how I expected things to go. I had maybe a very different idea of how things would be by now, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world because life's always full of lessons, and then the randomness is the fun part. The unexpected is the fun part. The twists and turns and the challenges. Without that, there's no excitement. So that is the excitement of life. Um, I wasn't expecting this hard drive to have so much space. I thought it would have cut me off by now, but that's what I gotta say. I'm glad I kept this concise because I'd recorded multiple videos that ended up dragging for hours and hours, and I just got like really depressing and shit. So maybe I'll cut those down and I'll still use some of that footage, but I'm liking how this video turned out. So this is my, you know, 10-year fucking anniversary, and crazy that yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add at this point, but all right. Well, I'll see you around. I mean, just the fact that it has come to 10 years, I think it's kind of like a wake-up call, and it's not necessarily that anything is different because of this milestone, but it is a big milestone, and it is making me reflect upon, just my approach to things and my effort and whatever. And I do want to, do this, and it's not necessarily that this will be some great commercial success or something, but I just want to, put out like a good effort into this, and that's what we'll do. And the goal was always, to become a filmmaker and shit. And this was a cool outlet for that because it was basically easy to stay consistent. Because if it was just, about smoking weed and stuff, then that was easy for me to really get into every day and to commit to because it was so much fun and I just fucking really enjoyed it. And because of that, we were able to stay consistent and do this for 10 years. Whereas, it would be hard, I think, to stick to something for 10 years straight. And I'm just really glad that I had stuck to this for so long, even though, there's periods of time where, I kind of fell off a little bit or whatever. But I'm just really glad that I'm still doing this 10 years later. And I've seen so many people kind of come and go within. There's a lot of people doing it now, too. It's like when I started, it really was super early. So I'm just happy to be around. I guess that's the moral of the story. I'm just happy to be here. And, Yeah. So it's just kind of cool to say that it's, it's 10 years in, that's like, it's just, you know, I'm glad I stuck to it. So I'll be seeing you around. There certainly can be a lot of different things I can uh, be posting on here. I probably won't even be fully on just weed stuff, and there's other interests I have and shit. And unfortunately, the weed stuff, like, is something I still can't figure out too. Am I just like not hitting numbers because it's not interesting to people, or is it getting throttled because it does have weed in it? This is something really difficult to figure out. And oftentimes I do have difficulties with the fucking shit getting throttled and whatever, and the channel not um, getting shown because of weed, but also, you know, evidently some people really make it work, so I guess that's not like the only excuse. All right. Well, I don't have much to contribute. You know me. I would fucking easily stand here all night. I could easily talk for like 5 hours straight, but like I've already done that a few times here, and that's why I'm late on this anniversary because I already had done that a couple times, but then like I decided not to post it, and so that's just the whole fucking problem in a nutshell is how I can be so indecisive and shit. Um, so yeah, it's funny how life, it's always a bit of a challenge, and it's full of challenges and shit. But this is the type of thing that makes life worth doing, when you have something that you enjoy and a worthy cause, because it's almost like the more difficult it is or the more unrealistic it is, the more fun it is and the more fulfilling it is. Where it's like 10 fucking years into this, it would be easy to just give up on it because I spent 10 years of my life, 38.5% of my life I've spent on this. So I could easily, like, decide to give up on it or just, like, not continue. But I think that's kind of part of the fun, too, is that it's, still doing it just out of the love of it. So I will be signing off now. There's plenty of good footage I've gotten. I just never posted. There's plenty of footage that I ended up fucking losing because I was not careful. So I should, figure that out.